द्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौरभक्तम् हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हाँ हरे कृष्णा सो आई होप टुडे आई एम ऑडिबल
Yes, Prabhuji.
same as the system I have okay I will shift to another table. Hare Krishna. So here we start the today's session, Dhyana Yoga, text number 31 and 32. The last two shlokas from the previous section we will cover. These are the actions of the perfect yogi. Sarvabhutasthitam yo mam bhajatyekatvamasthitah sarvatha vartamanopi स योगी मयि वर्तते. Yeah, please. Somebody.
Translation: such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances.
Okay. So such a yogi who engage in the worshipful service of the super soul, knowing that I am super soul, that means Krishna and the super soul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. So, so a yogi who has understood there is no difference between the Krishna and the Paramatma. Yeah. So, purport, a yogi who is practicing meditation on the super soul sees within himself the plenary portion of the Krishna as Vishnu with the forehand, holding Shankachakra Gada Padma. The yogi should know that Vishnu is not different from Krishna. Krishna, in this form of the Paramatma, is situated in everyone's heart. Furthermore, there is no difference between the innumerable super souls present in innumerable heart of living entities. Nor is there a difference between a Krishna conscious person engaging in transcendental services and perfect yogi engaged in meditation on super soul. Yogi in Krishna consciousness, even though he may be engaged in various activities while in immortal existence, remains always situated in Krishna. This is confirmed in Tirsamrita. Niklasvati avastashu jivan mukta sa uchate. A devotee of the Lord always acting in Krishna consciousness and automatically liberated. In liberated. In the Narad Pancharatra, this is confirmed in this way. So, in Narada Pancharatra verse is Dikkaladi Anamachinne Krishna Cheto Vidhayacha Tanmaya bhavati kshipram jiva brahmani yojadet. By concentrating one's attention on the transcendental form of Krishna, who is all pervading and beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna and then attains the happy state of transcendental association with him. So here it is very specific mention that Krishna Cheto Vidhayacha. That Cheta, the Paramatma, is Krishna. That means he is Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna and Paramatma. The Paramatma is a form of Krishna only. So that's what is confirmed here in the Narada Pancharatra, that by constantly must one attention on the transcendental form of Krishna, who is all pervading. Krishna is all pervading. And beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Then attains the happy state of transcendental association with him. Tanmayo. Tatmayo bhavati kshipram jivo brahmani yoje. Krishna consciousness is the highest stage of trance in yoga practice. This very understanding that Krishna is present as Paramatma in everyone's heart makes a yogi faultless. Gopal Tapani Upanishad confirms. What is written? Ekopi san bahudayo vibhati. Ekopi bahuda vidhati. Although Lord is one, he present in an innumerable heart. Similarly, Smriti. Eka eva paro Vishnu sarvavyapi na samshayaha ashvairya ekam cha suryatat bahudheyate. Vishnu is one. Eka eva paro Vishnu. And yet he is certainly all pervading. Sarvavyapi na samshayaha. There is no doubt. By his inconceivable potency, in spite of his one form, he is present everywhere as the sun. Sun, Surya Vat, Bahu Dheyate. The sun appears in many places at once, just like sun is one, but is present, is a reflection in many pot, or is present everywhere. Similarly, Vishnu is one, but simultaneously is present everywhere. Okay, so this is one of the words. So here we can see that yogi is one who has such transcendental faith on the Achintya Shakti of the Lord of all pervading. And that yogi, one who is having that faith on this Achintya Shakti, he is qualified for liberation. That's what is mentioned here. He is a perfect yogi. So, so here, when we say Paramatma within the heart of all living entity, so that Paramatma is one everywhere. Paramatma is the same Paramatma of the same size is existing everywhere. How come? What is the size of Paramatma within the heart of human being? What is size of Paramatma within the heart of elephant? What is the size of Paramatma within the heart of ant? Size of the soul we know, 1/10,000 of the tip of the hair. We heard of that. Okay. What is the size of Paramatma? So, size of the Paramatma, it is mentioned that Pradesha Matram Purusham Vasantam. Pradesha Matram Purusham Vasantam. So, this is the size of a Paramatma. Pradesha Matram means what? Pradesha Matram means 6 to 7 inch almost. So, 6 inch means half feet almost. 6 to 7 inch. You can just imagine this much height Paramatma is there in your heart. This much height Paramatma is situated in your heart. With Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. And the yogi is meditating on that Paramatma of that height, who is who is standing on the lotus. How much? Pradesha matram purusham avasantam. Pradesha matram. So 6 to 7 inch. Somebody may say, oh no, the size of the Paramatma is Angushta Matram. That is what is mentioned in Bhagavatam in the case of the Parikshit Maharaj. No, he saw the Angushta Matram. Krishna is there. Came manifested Angushta Matram. So that's why size of Paramatma is Angushta Matram. But that is not the Angushta is how much? It is only 2 to 3 inch. Angutha. Angushta matram. It is only 2-3 inch, but not Pradesha matram. Size of the Paramatma is not Angushta matram. That Parishit Maharaj might have seen the Krishna. Krishna might have taken the form of Angushta matram to protect Parishit Maharaj within the womb of a Uttara. So Angushta matram is not the size of Paramatma. That is a darshan given by Lord Sri Krishna to Parishit Maharaj. When it comes to the exact size of the Paramatma, is Pradesha Matram. Okay, that is what the references what we have seen. Now, so, yeah. So here, some discussion on the theme to how to understand these verses, what we are undergoing. How Krishna is so favorable for his devotee that it is mentioned that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ami Vigya Eimurkha Vishekena Divo. Swacharnamruta Diya Vishay Bhulaiba. So this is by how for a person for whom this is a discussion about the basically the yesterday's theme I could not complete because of the time limit. I am completing that theme, that how we were discussing Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam Chamai Pashyati Tasyaham na Pranashyami Sachamena Pranashyati. That how that for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I'm never lost, nor is he ever lost for me. So this is a vision of a bhakta, vision of a devotee, vision of the Lord, the way the Lord sees the devotee. So yeah. So such a topmost yogi, while meditating on the Paramatma, what he attains? He attains liberation. So, but so that liberation for the Ashtanga yogi, and for the Jnani, impersonalist liberation. For the Bhakta, it is pure devotional service. So, so in the due course of time, does the desire or the vasana, whether that comes out of the heart for those who are following the path of this mukti, bhukti, siddhi, kami, whether the material desires they come out. Yes, if it's all depend upon the on the aspiration of a that respective yogi. What is his aspiration? If the aspiration is a prema bhakti, but we have anartha as a mukti, siddhi, and kami. And if a devotee understand that this is my anartha, he is not, when he sees the anartha as his aspiration, then Krishna fulfill that aspiration. But when the sadhaka sees that anartha, of bhukti, mukti, and siddhi as his anartha. Oh Krishna, this is my anartha. Oh Krishna, this is very deep rooted anartha. Oh Krishna, this is my vasana. And I don't, oh Krishna, please don't facilitate this to me. Oh Krishna, please don't allow me to fall down. Oh Krishna, don't facilitate this vasana for me. When sincerely devotee pray, that means he is considering that vasana within the heart as anartha. And when the devotee sees the vasana as anartha, then Krishna help to remove that anartha, anartha nivrutti. But when that anartha becomes an aspiration, that Krishna, I want this. Uh, I want this. When devotee asks for, I want this. I want to fulfill my material desires, oh Krishna. Then what happens? If he is a very advanced devotee and Krishna don't want him to fall, then what Krishna will do? Swacharnamrita diya vishay bhulaiva. For such a devotee, he will give Swacharnamrita diya vishay bhulaiva. Vishay bhulaiva, Krishna will force him. For others, bhukti, mikti, siddhi, kami, that is their aspiration only. For them, if they are not bhakta, for them, Krishna will fulfill. Bhukti, mukti, kami, Krishna will facilitate. But for bhakta, if he starts, even he considered that as anartha. He considered that anartha, but again, sometimes it becomes aspiration. Again, he understands, no, this is anartha. This is anartha. I don't want to, I'm not supposed to be aspire. Oh, Krishna, please help me. Then in that situation, Swacharnamruddiya Vishay Bhulaiba. So this is the way the process of Krishna consciousness works. For a person for whom material desires are anartha, bhakti process will remove that anartha. But if the material desires becomes abhilasha, anartha becomes what? Abhilasha. Especially for the neophyte devotees or other yogis, then bhakti, process of bhakti will fulfill that abhilasha. Okay, you want this? Take this. Krishna is saying, no, ye yathamam prapadyante tam tasaiva bhajamyam. That process is for all other yogis. Ye yathamam prapadyante. So, for devotee, those who is very dear, but he's struggling with the anartha. For him, how the Krishna acts, for him, Bhagvat Vargi, Tvai Jayate Mati. His consciousness turns towards me. If one is fortunate, then one receives association of devotee. Krishna gives that association of the devotee to that particular bhakta. And by that association, he makes progress in a bhakti. So that's why when Krishna is telling Swacharnamrita diya vishay bhulaiva, what is the Swacharnamrita? That is those devotees who are taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. They are the Charnamrita. Just like a Ganga is a devotee of Vishnu. Ganga is, and all the devotees, those who are taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, that is Charnamrita of the Lord. They are pure like a Charnamrita. So Charnamrita Diya means Krishna gives association of devotee. So this is very, very important here to discuss at this point, because we are talking about the Dhyana Yogi and all of the, now we are going to the conclusion part. How the Bhakta is special than the Dhyana Yogi, Jnani Yogi, because their aspiration, Paramatma, some Jnani's aspiration, Mukti, liberation, Karmi's aspiration is karma. So, but for Bhakta, it's something Swacharnamrita diya. Vishay bhulaiba. Means Krishna brings devotee in his life. Because for such person, Vishaya Sangha is anartha. He thinks, he consider, yeah, this is anartha. To never make the kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mad, matsarya as abhilasha. They are not abhilasha. Don't aspire for that. मुझे ये चाहिए. ये अभिलाषा है. Devotee don't make that is abhilasha. So pure devotee, then Swacharnamrudya, that means he gives association of pure devotee to that devotee, and that pure devotee will change his aspiration. Pure devotee will change his aspiration. Change of aspiration, then Krishna will fulfill that aspiration. Now, change of aspiration, and then Krishna will fulfill that aspiration. Vishay bhulaiba, and then he will give abhilasha for Krishna, and Krishna will fulfill that abhilasha. So this does not mean that karma, jnana, and yoga mishra bhakta will eventually become bhakta. No. Those who are karma mishrit bhakta, jnana mishrit bhakta, yoga mishrit bhakta may not become bhakta. Because for the different yogis, there are different destinations. Because Krishna don't force to change the abhilasha. Krishna don't impose on the jnani. Krishna don't impose on the ashtanga yogi or the mishra bhakta also to change their abhilasha. That's why he gives association of the devotee. Krishna don't change, but the devotee change. Krishna don't change the abhilasha, but devotees, they will change our aspiration. And that's why he gives the association of a devotee. So that's what Swacharnamrita diya Vishay bhulaiba. Okay, and that is a topmost yogi. That is bhakti yogi. So let us continue this again. 32nd shloka is the last shloka of Ashtanga Yoga. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pash. Any comment? I didn't ask for any question, any comment on the last discussion. I hope we are in line, in tune. Sometimes we may go deep and understand few concepts previously which is not clear. Hari bol. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati so yo Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo matah. Sayogi paramo matah. Read translation.
Translation. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress, O Arjuna.
So here is a quality of the topmost yogi is mentioned. He is perfect yogi. By comparison, see the true equality, happiness and distress. That's why he can see and understand that the living entities are in distress. And I am happy in Krishna consciousness. How can I remove the distress? And that's why such a yogi becomes compassionate. To share, he want to share that happiness that to others, because in both their happiness and distress, equality, sees the true equality of all living in both their happiness and distress. Yeah, Arjuna. Purport. One who is in Krishna consciousness, perfect yogi, is aware of everyone's happiness and distress by dint of his own personal experience. Yeah. The cause of the distress of living entity, forgetfulness of the relationship, sambandha jnana, and the cause of the happiness, knowing Krishna, be the supreme enjoyer, bhoktaram yagya tapsam sarvaloka maheshwaram. So So that's what is mentioned here. He is the supreme enjoyer of all the activities of human being, the proprietor of land, planet, and sincere friend. The perfect yogi notes that the living being who is conditioned by the modes of the material nature is subjected to threefold miseries due to forgetfulness of his relationship with the Krishna. And because one is in Krishna consciousness is happy, he tries to distribute the knowledge of the Krishna consciousness everywhere. This is mode and mission of Srila Prabhupada. This statement. What? Because one is in Krishna consciousness is happy, he tries to distribute knowledge of Krishna everywhere. Because he sees that everybody is distressed because they forgot Krishna. They forgot their relationship with the Krishna. That's why they are suffering in the three modes of the material nature, tritapa. Since the perfect yogi tries to broadcast the importance of becoming Krishna conscious, he is the best philanthropist in the world and he is the dearest servitor. Nachatasma manusheshu kachin me priyakrittama. In other words, a devotee of the Lord always looks to the welfare of the all living entities, and in this way, he is factually the friend of everyone. He is the best yogi because he does not desire perfection in yoga for his personal benefit, but he tries. But he tries for others also. He does not envy his fellow living entities. See, now you can underline this statement. Here is a contrast between the pure devotee of the Lord and the yogi who is interested only in his personal elevation. Ashtanga yogi goes to seclusion, goes in a jungle somewhere, meditating on the Paramatma, and there only rocket shoot in the sky, liberated. Nobody knows, nobody benefited. But the devotee, he goes to crowded city, do Harinam Sankirtan, and along with him, he takes many others. So the yogi who has withdrawn to a secluded place in order to meditate perfectly may not be as perfect as a devotee who is trying his best to turn every man towards Krishna consciousness. See, this is a compassion of a devotee. Compassion. Maunam charanti vijane na parartha nishta. Prahlad Maharaj is saying that I don't want to be one of that Muni who is meditating on the Paramatma and going back to Godhead. I want to go to the people who are suffering and distribute Krishna consciousness. That is a consciousness of a Prahlad Maharaj. मौनम चरंती विजने यहाँ पे कोई लोग नहीं, सेक्लूजन देखो, न परार्थ निष्ठा, दूसरे के लिए कुछ करना नहीं है, नो परार्थ निष्ठा. So that kind of yogi I don't want to become, Prahlad Maharaj is telling. So this is a yogi's comparison with the devotee. Yogis also is having compassion. That's what is mentioned in the verse 32nd. That he is having empathy that people are in distress. But what is doing? That means yogi's compassion is theoretical, devotee's compassion is practical. Yogi's compassion is simply theory part. But the devotee's compassion is on the foreground, on the practical ground, sharing Krishna consciousness and benefiting one and all. And for that, then he goes out of the way. That means he don't go out, means out of Krishna consciousness. He goes out of the way to distribute Krishna consciousness. And so that's why, because one is in Krishna consciousness is happy, he tries to distribute the knowledge of the Krishna everywhere. That's the meaning of that statement of Prabhupada, what he writes, wonderful purport to the, yeah. So now we are now reaching to the next section when Arjuna, after hearing about the whole Ashtanga Yoga system, now still Arjuna, he's felt that such a equal vision, samadrishti, cannot be long lasting. How to focus on Paramatma? Baba, my mind is not that stable. One can maintain such a equal vision, maybe for friends or some neutral person. But how can I have here equal vision with the Duryodhana who's standing in front of me? It's not practical. Krishna is telling, have equal vision and fight. Have equal vision and fight. See, everybody is equal with equal vision and fight. Uttishta. How I can fight with the equal vision? What you are recommending? So Arjuna is now speak to Krishna that the practice of this Ashtanga Yoga is not possible for me, Krishna. Now my mind is focusing on friend and enemy. And as you told, you kill, okay, I'll kill my enemies. I'm ready. My mind is not so stable, Krishna. So that's what Arjuna will speak out. Very practical thing that whatever you are you are speaking from last half an hour is a good theory. Sorry, I cannot practice this. He's telling it's a good theory, nice to hear, but I cannot practice. Arjuna Uvacha Yoyam Yogasvaya Prokta Samena Madhusudana Etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvat sitim sthiram. Oh, we have not recited this verse. Now we will recite these verses, okay? Arjuna Uvacha Yoyam Yogasvaya Prokta
Arjuna
Yogastvaya
Ammena Madhusudana Etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvat sthitim sthiram. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna
Chanchalam hi Krishna
Pramathi balabadhradam Tasyaham nigraham manye Yoriva sudushkaram Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri
Bhagavan Uvacha
Asamshayam Mahabaho No durnigraham chalam Abhyasena tu kaunteya Vairagyena cha grihate Asamyatatmana yogo Asamyatatmana yogo Dushprapa iti me matihi Vashatmana tu yatata Shakyo vaptum payatah
शक्यो
वाप्तुमुपायतः
शक्यो
वाप्तुमुपायतः
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So this is one of the section. Let us complete till 36. Arjuna Vacha. Yoyam yoga swaya prokta samena madhusudhana. Etasyaham na prashyami chanchalatvam sitim stiram.
Arjuna said, O Madhusudan, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady.
Ah. So, so Arjuna is basically telling to Krishna that, oh, you said that I should empathize with the happiness and distress to all living entity. Okay, but I cannot empathize with the enemies here. It's not so practical, oh Krishna. The system of the mysticism described by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, beginning with the word Chuchau Deshe and ending with Yogi Paramo Mataha. 32nd verse, Yogi Paramo Mataha. Yogi Paramaha. Is here being rejected by Arjuna of a feeling of inability. It is not possible for an ordinary man to leave home and go to a secluded place in the mountains or a jungle to practice yoga in the age of Kali. Even to take out 4-5 days for Yatra, Kartik Yatra, it becomes difficult. What to speak of going to the jungle for a month? So, so, so it's very ordinary man to leave home and go to the secluded place in the mountains or jungle to practice yoga in the age of Kali. The present age is characterized by bitter struggle for a life of short duration. People are not serious about self-realization even by simple practical means. And what to speak of this difficult yoga system which regulates the modes of the living, the manner of sitting, selection of the place, and detachment of the mind from the material engagements. Too difficult. So, as a practical man, Arjuna thought it was impossible to follow this system of yoga, even though he was favorably endowed in many ways. Arjuna had many good qualities. He could have done it. And things were quite favorable. But still, he's telling that not possible. So he belonged, so underline this, he belonged to the royal family and was highly elevated in terms of the numerous qualities. He was a great warrior. He had a great longevity. And above all, he was the most intimate friend of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 5,000 years ago, Arjuna had a much better facility than we do now. Yet he refused to accept this system of yoga. So, in fact, we do not find any record in the history. So, this is till this is very important, underline. So, in fact, we do not find any record in the history of his practicing it at any time. Therefore, this system must be considered generally impossible in this age of the Kali. Of course, it may be possible for some very few rare men, but for the people in general, it is not impossible proposal. It is an impossible proposal. If this were so 5,000 years ago, then what of the present day? Those who are imitating this yoga system in different so-called school and society, although complacent, are certainly wasting their time. They are completely in ignorance of the desired goal. All the Ashtanga Yoga Society, Hatha Yoga Society, Prabhupada is condemning them that it's a waste of time. They are completely ignorant. Okay. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramati balabhadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. This is the first verse I heard from a devotee of ISKCON. And this is the first verse which I memorize in bhakti process after coming to Krishna consciousness in year 2000. And I heard this verse from the mouth of Gauranga Prabhu, one who came to my college for giving one-time program, Art of Mind Control, in D.Y. Patil College in year 2000, 3rd August, year 2000. So this verse has an immense influence on me, and that's why it's very dear verse for me. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna. And to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. Controlling the wind. 10%. Yeah. So, okay, please read purport.
The mind is so strong and obstinate that it sometimes overcomes the intelligence, although the mind is supposed to be subservient to the intelligence. For a man in the practical world who has to fight so many opposing elements, it is certainly very difficult to control the mind. Artificially, one may establish a mental equilibrium toward both friend and enemy, but ultimately no worldly man can do so, for this is more difficult than controlling the raging wind. In the Vedic culture, Katha Upanishad 1.3.324, it is said, Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi Shariram Ratham Evacha Buddhim tu Shararthim Vidhi Mana Pragraham Evacha Indriyani Hayana Ahur Vishayamsa Teshu Gocharana Atmendriya Mano Yuktam Bhokteya Ahur Manishina.
So
The
here,
individual-
this is the Katha Upanishad verse, which is comparing the body with the chariot, the senses with the horses, the mind with the reins of that chariot, the intelligence with the driver, the soul with the passenger, and the whole ratha is compared with body.
The individual is the passenger in the car of the material body, and intelligence is the driver. Mind is the driving instrument, and the senses are the horses. The self is thus the enjoyer or sufferer in the association of the mind and the senses. So it is understood by great thinkers. Intelligence is supposed to direct the mind, but the mind is so strong and obstinate that it often overcomes even one's own intelligence, as an acute infection may surpass the efficacy of medicine. Such a strong mind is supposed to be controlled by the practice of yoga. But such practice is never practical for a worldly person like Arjuna. And what can we say of the modern man? The simile used here is appropriate. One cannot capture the blowing wind, and it is even more difficult to capture the turbulent mind. The easiest way to control the mind, as suggested by Lord Chaitanya, is chanting Hare Krishna, the great mantra for deliverance in all humility. The method prescribed is Sa Vai Manaha Krishna Padar Vindayo. One must engage one's mind fully in Krishna, only then will there remain no other engagements to agitate the mind.
So this is the Ramban Upay for the mind. This is easiest way to control the mind, suggested by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So different doctors give different treatment, and when we hear, oh, that doctor said, then oh, it must be most efficacy and efficient, so we should follow. Okay, but here the most efficient Dr. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is recommending that if you want to control the mind, most important thing, method is chanting Hare Krishna. That's why it's called mantra. Manastrayati. Iti mantra. Okay. Fine. So here Krishna is immediately giving solution. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येन च गृह्यते.
Translation. Lord Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment.
So here solution is given. Immediate solution. Perfect answer. Perfect question and perfect answer. An immediate answer. Not beating around the bush. So here, yes, there is no doubt. You are right, Arjuna. Mind is very obstinate, uncontrolled, chanchal, very difficult. I agree with your analysis, but it is possible to control the mind by suitable practice and detach. Abhyas means abhyas means focus basically, and it means practice, and then detachment. So abhyasena kaunteya vairagyena cha grihate. So that means Krishna is Arjuna is telling, oh, this is a problem, and Krishna says, what's problem? Control mind by intelligence. Because intelligence is superior to mind, control that mind by intelligence, who is a driver. Driver is supposed to control the rein. Bas. So abhyas and the detachment. Purport. Please read.
The difficulty of controlling the obstinate mind, as expressed by Arjuna, is accepted by personality of Godhead. But at the same time, he suggests that by practice and detachment, it is possible. What is the practice? What is that practice? In the present age, no one can observe the strict rules and regulations of placing oneself in a sacred place, focusing the mind on the supersoul, restraining the senses and mind, observing celibacy, remaining alone, etc. By the practice of Krishna consciousness, however, one engages in 9 types of devotional service to the Lord. The first and foremost.
So, what is that practice? What is that practice? Not the practice what we have read in the previous 15 verses of the Ashtanga Yogi. That is not the practice. Whatever was mentioned from the Shucho Deshe till Yogi Paramaha, that is not the practice. So what is recommended practice in the age of the Kali Yuga? Navavidha Bhakti. Starting with Shravanam, hearing. Please continue.
The first and foremost of such devotional engagements is hearing about Krishna. This is very powerful transcendental method for purging the mind of all misgivings. The more one hears about Krishna, the more one becomes enlightened and detached from everything that draws the mind away from Krishna. By detaching the mind from activities not devoted to the Lord, one can very easily learn Vairagya. Vairagya means detachment.
By detaching the mind from the activities not devoted to the Lord, one can very easily learn Vairagya. And what is Vairagya's definition? Pratikullasya Varjanam. But what is Vairagya definition? Pratikullasya Varjanam. Somebody which is not favorable for Krishna consciousness, give it up. That is meaning of Vairagya. Not devoted to the Lord. Activities which are not devoted to Lord, unfavorable, So that is the definition Prabhupada is giving of Vairagya. What is Vairagya? And what, see, then very clear. Abhyasa is Navavidha Bhakti, Shravanam is a prominent. And Vairagya, this is not favorable for Krishna consciousness, so I will not do it. Yes. Okay. So Vairagya, very nice definition again. Vairagya means detachment from the matter and engagement of the mind. Detachment from the matter and engagement of the mind in spirit. Okay. Matter to spirit. Shifting from the matter to spirit. That is Vairagya. Okay. Please
Vairagya
continue.
means detachment from matter and engagement of the mind and spirit. Impersonal spiritual detachment is more difficult than attaching the mind to the activities of Krishna. This is practical because by hearing about Krishna, one becomes automatically attached to the Supreme Spirit. This attachment is called Pareshanubhava, spiritual satisfaction. It is just like the feeling of satisfaction a hungry man has for every morsel of food he eats. The more one eats while hungry, the more one feels satisfaction and strength. Similarly, by discharge of devotional service, one feels transcendental satisfaction as the mind becomes detached from material objectives. It is something
So,
like
so here you can read this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.42 here I have displayed here. Bhakti parishanubhavo viraktir अन्यत्र चैस्त्रिक एक काल प्रपद्यमानस्य यथाश्नतस्यस तुष्टि पुष्टि क्षुतकायोनुभासम. Yeah. So this is the translation what Prabhupada has given here in the purport. That bhakti parishano bhavo viraktir anyatra chaishatri ekala prapadyamanasya yatha ashnatah syus tushti pushti. So bhakti parisha anubhava, bhakti or devotion is a parisha para isha anubhava. It is direct experience of the Lord. And viraktri anyatra cha, that means detachment from other things. And these three things, bhakti, para isha anubhav, and vairagya. But bhakti, para isha anubhav, and vairagya, these three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the same way, that means pleasure, nourishment, and relief from the hunger. Three things happen simultaneously. As soon as we take the morsel, and each bite of that morsel for a person who is engaged in the eating, immediately he becomes completely satisfied. Satisfied means pleasure. Then we feel nourished. And third, now no more hunger. So similarly, one who practices bhakti, he gets direct paraisha anubhav and virakti. Simultaneously, all this happen. Okay, so this is what Prabhupada is mentioning in this verse. So continue.
it is something like curing a disease by expert treatment and appropriate diet. Hearing of the transcendental activities of Lord Krishna is therefore expert treatment for the mad mind, and eating the foodstuff offered to Krishna is the appropriate diet for the suffering patient. This
So
treatment
please underline this all this. First is a bhakti parishano bhava viraktir, that analogy, and second, uh, so curing the disease by expert treatment and appropriate diet. What is that expert treatment? Shravanam. What is appropriate diet? Accepting Krishna Prasadam.
this treatment is a process of Krishna consciousness.
So this is what bhakti. What we give bhakti, like a doctor gives the expert treatment and appropriate diet also. If if doctor says that khate jao, मेडिसिन खाते जाओ, अब कुछ भी खाते जाओ बाद में, तो नो, ही also should give prescription what not to eat, what to eat. So pathya, they call pathya. Nowadays, no, nobody like pathya. You just give me medicine so that I can eat anything. Then you are a good doctor. So, but there are do's and also don'ts. Both need to be followed. Do's and don'ts in bhakti. Okay. Yeah. So, here is a solution. Assumption Mahabaho. Manodurnigraham chalam abhyasane to kaunteya vairagyan. Abhyasane kaunteya vairagyan grihati. Asamyatatmana yogo दुष्प्राप इति मे मति वशात्मना तु यतता शक्यो वाप्तुम शक्यो वाप्तुम उपायतः.
Translation: For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and he who strives by appropriate means is assured success. That is my opinion.
Krishna's opinion. Yeah. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is very difficult. That means, you see, if as a bhakti yoga, now we are practicing bhakti, and if our mind is not controlled, then what? We cannot be successful in our self-realization, path of self-realization. And if our mind is controlled, then he is successful. He is assured success. So, who is a successful yogi? Who controls his mind? How he controls his mind? Abhyasani kaunteya vairagyan grihate. By engaging in 9 process of devotional service, all the senses are engaged. Savai mana Krishna padavravindayor vacha vaikuntha gunanvaranane karo harer mandirvajanam sushrutam chakara chatkathodaye, like that, etc., etc. All senses are engaged. Then it's possible. Purport.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead declares that one who does not accept the proper treatment to detach the mind from material engagement can hardly achieve success in self-realization. Trying to practice yoga while engaging the mind in material enjoyment is like trying to ignite a fire while pouring water on it. Yoga practice without mental control is waste of time. Such a show of yoga may be materially lucrative, but it is useless as far as spiritual realization is
So,
concerned.
nice statement here. Yoga practice without mental control is a waste of time. What? Yoga practice without mental control is a waste of time.
Such a show of yoga may be materially lucrative, but it is useless as far as spiritual realization is concerned. Therefore, one must control the mind by engaging it constantly in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Unless one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, he cannot steadily control the mind. As a Krishna conscious person.
So please underline this statement. A Krishna conscious person easily achieve the result of the yoga practice without separate endeavor. But a yoga practitioner cannot achieve success without becoming Krishna conscious. So Krishna conscious person may use yoga practices or may not use yoga practice. He'll achieve success. But the Ashtanga yogi, he has to practice bhakti. Hare namanukirtanam. Etan nirvidyamananam ichchitam akuto vayam yoginam nipanirnitam harer namanukirtanam. So this is the verse in Bhagavatam. Hare namanukirtanam is for all. The Gyanis, the yogis, the Nishkam Karma, everybody need to do Harinam Sankirtan. Bhakti to achieve their respective destination. But bhakta are not depending on other. Bhakti is independent. That's what. Bhakti is independent. And all other yoga systems, they are depending on the bhakti for their success. For all other yoga system, bhakti is a means, and for the bhakta, bhakti is a means and goal, both. That is the only difference. For the bhakta, process of the bhakti is a means and also goal. So that's why the last two lines are very, very important. A Krishna conscious person easily achieves result of yoga practice without separate endeavor, but a yoga practitioner cannot achieve success without becoming Krishna conscious. So we have some more time. So next section, which starts from the verse number 37 and end at 45. We may not able to cover all the verses of this section, but we will try to cover few verses. Let us see, first of all, what are the Arjuna's doubt? 37, 38 and 39. 3. Loka. So this section of 37 to 45 is a failure in yoga. If somebody is not successful, he fails. Please give me some couple of minutes. One call from doctor is coming. My Panchakarma doctor. Just for interruption in between. Failure in yoga. So how a yogi fall down, and if he fall down, what is his destination? That's what is the discussion. Yeah. Arjuna Uvacha. Please decide.
Arjuna
Arjuna
Uvacha.
Uvacha. Arjuna Uvacha.
Ayatihi Shraddhayopeto.
Ayatihi
Shraddhayopeto.
Ayatihi
Shraddhayopeto.
तो यहाँ पे उच्चारण करते समय there is some mistake from my end also. Ayatihi, like that I did pronunciation. When we recite the last tihi need not be very prominent. It get merged basically. We need not pronounce it clearly. Tihi, like we have to pronounce like ayati shraddhayopeto. Ayati shraddhayopeto. Ayati shraddhayopeto.
Ayati
Shraddhayopeto. Shraddhayopeto.
Yoga chalitamaanasaha. When visarga comes at the end of the line, then we make it a pronounce it properly. यहाँ पे मानसः सह स is akara, so h also h. When ayati he is ikar, it should be actually pronounced like ayati he ayati he, but still we don't pronounce here because it comes in between the line, so it becomes lupta. Okay. Aprapya yoga samsiddhim.
अप्राप्य
योग संसिद्धिम्
अप्राप्य
योग संसिद्धिम्
तां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति.
कां गतिं कृष्ण
गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति
गतिं
तां
कृष्ण
गतिं
गच्छति
कृष्ण गच्छति
38. कच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टा
कश्चिन्नो
भयविभ्रष्टा कच्चिन्नो
भयविभ्रष्टा
भयविभ्रष्टा
विभ्रष्टस्. कच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टस्.
कश्चिन्नो
भयविभ्रष्टा
कश्चिन्नो
कच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टा
भयविभ्रष्टः
Tush, like that. छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति.
छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति
छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति
अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो.
अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो
मूढो ब्रह्मण पथि.
मूढो ब्रह्मणपति मूढो ब्रह्मणपति
एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण.
एतन्मे
तन्मे
संशयं
संशयं
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण
चेत्तुं अर्हसि. चेत्तुम् अर्हस्य शेषतः.
चेत्तुम् अर्हस्य शेषतः
तो चेत्तुं मर्हस्य म आणि चेत्तुम् अर्हस्य चेत्तुम् अर्हस्य चेत्तुम् अर्हस्य शेषतः. त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य. चेत्ता न ह्युपपद्यते.
चेतान्युपपद्यते
Okay, take 3 verses. So Arjuna Uvacha Ayati hi shraddhayopeto yogaschalitamanasa prapti yoga samsiddhim tam gatim Krishna gacchati. Translation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later desist due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism? So this is the question. Good quote. That the yogi destination kam gatim Krishna gacchati. Aprapti yoga samsiddhim, he don't attain this siddhi samsiddhim in that path. Which gati he attains? Kam gatim Krishna gacchati. Before that he is mentioning ayatihi and shraddhayopetu. Ayatihi means yati means yati, transcendentalist. Ayati means unsuccessful yogi. Ayatihi, unsuccessful yati. Yati means sannyasi basically. Yati used for sannyasi also. Ayati means fallen sannyasi or unsuccessful sannyasi, like that. Ayatihi shraddhayopeto upayati. That means he starts with shraddha. But yoga, chalitamanasaha, he starts the upayato yoga, he starts yoga first with faith. Many devotees may start the process of bhakti with faith, determination, but they may get deviated from the path of bhakti also. Yoga shalitamanasaha. An aprapya yoga, they will not attain the success in that yoga path. Kamgatim, so what is their destination, O Krishna? What is their destination? Purport. That Mataji has left, I think. Okay. No, she's there. Rajashri Puja. Okay. Somebody else? Please read purport.
Yes, please. The path of self-realization or mysticism is described in the Bhagavad Gita. The basic principle of self-realization is knowledge that the living entity is not this material body, but that he is different from it, and that his happiness is in eternal life, bliss, and knowledge. These are transcendental, beyond both body and mind. Self-realization is sought by the path of knowledge, by the practice of the Eightfold System, or by Bhakti Yoga. In each of these processes, one has to realize the constitutional position of the living entity, his relationship with the God, and the activities whereby he can re-establish the lost link and achieve the highest perfection stage of Krishna consciousness. Following any of the above mentioned three methods, one is sure to reach the supreme goal sooner or later. This was ascertained by the Lord in the second chapter. Even a little endeavor on the transcendental path offers a great hope for deliverance.
What is that shloka? Second chapter.
स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Very nice. Neha Vikramanaashasti. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya.
त्रायते महतो.
So, and this Neha Vikramanaashasti Pratyavayo, does it applicable for bhakti or other process?
Only for bhakti.
For all Prabhu.
Yes, that's what. So that's why he mentioned in the above statement. Following any of the above mentioned three method, one is shared to reach to the supreme goal sooner or later, and this was asserted by the Lord in the second chapter. So this Neha Vikramanaashasti, this is for the all three yogis, all transcendentalists basically, and also Bhakti yogi, Jnani, Ashtanga yogi, and Bhakti yogi. It is applicable, not for the Karmi. Out of these three,
Out of these
Bhakti.
three methods, the path of Bhakti Yoga is especially suitable for this age because it is the most direct method of God realization. To be doubly assured, Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna to confirm his former statement. One may sincerely accept the path of self-realization, but the process of cultivation of knowledge and the practice of Eightfold System, Yoga system, are generally very difficult for this age. Therefore, despite constant endeavor, one may fail for many reasons. First of all, one may not be sufficiently serious about the following the process. To pursue the transcendental path is more or less to declare war on the illusionary energy.
So see, this is one wonderful statement. To pursue the transcendental path is more or less to declare a war against Maya, war against illusory energy. And what happens in that war? If we fight, then eventually our muscle becomes strong. Okay. Next.
Consequently, whenever a person tries to escape the clutches of the illusionary energy, she tries to defeat the practitioner by various allurements. A conditioned soul is already allured by the modes of material energy, and there is every chance of being allured again, even while performing transcendental disciplines. This is called Yoga Chalita Manasaha. Deviation from the transcendental path. Arjuna is inquisitive to know the results of deviation from the path of self-realization.
Okay. So, and this is the doubt of Arjuna. Continuing his doubt. Kachinno bhay vishprashta chinna dhrapati nashari apratishto mahabhaho vimudho brahmanapati.
Translation. O mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere?
So, Riven cloud means what? Unsheltered cloud. Riven. Huh? With no position in spheres. Yeah. So here, let us go through purport.
There are two ways to progress. Those who are materialists have no interest in transcendence. Therefore, they are more interested in material advancement by economic development or in promotion to higher planets by appropriate work. When one takes to the path of transcendence, one has to cease all material activities and sacrifice all.
More than a liter. Yeah, please cut.
When one takes to the path of transcendence, one has to cease all material activities and sacrifice all forms of so-called material happiness. If the aspiring transcendentalist fails, then he apparently loses both ways. In other words, he can enjoy neither material happiness nor spiritual success. He has no position. He is like a riven cloud. A cloud in the sky sometimes deviates from the small cloud and joins a big one. But if it cannot join a big one, then it is blown away by the wind and becomes non-entity in the vast sky. The Brahmana Pati is the path of transcendental realization through knowing oneself to be a spiritual in essence and part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, who is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Lord Sri Krishna is the fullest manifestation of Supreme Personality and Supreme Absolute Truth. And therefore, one who is surrendered to the Supreme Person is a successful transcendentalist. To reach this goal of life through Brahman, Paramatman realization takes many, many births. Bahnam Janmanamati. Therefore, the supermost path of transcendental realization is Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness, the direct method.
So, apratishto mahabhavo vimudho brahmanapati. They become bewildered from the brahmanapati, transcendental path. So, brahmanapati may be Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, Bhagwan realization. And in the beginning, he is mentioning about the path accepted by the materialistic through economic development, pravrutti, And when one takes to the path of transcendence, one has to seize all material activities and sacrifice all forms of so-called material happiness. That is nivrutti. Pravrutti and nivrutti. That's what path is being mentioned by Prabhupada. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. If the aspiring transcendent fails, then he apparently loses both ways. यानी भौतिक जगत भी छोड़ा और न घर का न घाट का. Raivan cloud, that's what. A Raivan cloud means a cloud. He was a part of one cloud, but he got separated from that, and he wanted to join another cloud, but he could not join that cloud also, and he remained in between, a lost. So this is basically a danger for a transcendentalist, कि ना घर का ना घाट का, ना इधर का ना उधर का, धोबी का कुत्ता, न घर का ना घाट का. तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. सो दैट्स व्हाट ब्रह्मणपति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढ़ो ब्रह्मणपति. छिन्न एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण चेतुमर्हस्य शेषतः त्वदन्य संशयास्यस्य चेत्ता न ह्युपपद्यते.
Translation. This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt.
That means this is a trust on the preceptor, that, O Krishna, there cannot be nobody else than you. I am completely depending on you, and I have taken completely shelter of you. Same thing. Shishyaste ham shadi mam tam prapannam. Karpanya desho apattasva bhava prachami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. Dharma sammudha cheta. Then third line. Yashreyam syat nichitam. That this is what he is completely putting a trust on the preceptor as a teacher. Yash kya shreyas hai? Nichitam bruhi tanme शिष्यस्ते हम शादीनंतम. एतन्मे संशयम कृष्ण चेतुमर्हस्य शेषतः त्वदन्य संशयम सहस्य चेतन. आपके बिना ये डाउट दूसरा कोई सॉल्व नहीं कर सकता. No one is found who can destroy this doubt. Purport.
Krishna is the perfect knower of past, present, and future. In the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord said that all living entities existed individually in the past, they exist now in the present, and they continue to retain individual identity in the future, even after liberation from the material entanglement.
So here, Krishna is the perfect knower of the past, present, and future. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani char bhavishyana bhutani mamta vedam gacchami. So that verse. Then in the beginning, Bhagavad Gita, Lord said, living entities is in the past. So that is what Natveva ham jatu nasam natpem neme janatipa nachai vana bhavisyamas sarve evaya matapara. So all these are verses translation. Purport is nothing but all verses translation only. Next.
So he has already cleared up the question of the future of the individual living entities. Now, Arjuna wants to know of the future of the unsuccessful transcendentalist. No one is equal to or above Krishna, and certainly so-called great sages and philosophers who are at the mercy of material nature cannot equal him. Therefore,
What is that word? Asama urdhva. Asama urdhva. Nobody. The sama, nobody. Urdhva. Higher than Krishna. Another verse is there. Okay. Okay, next.
Therefore, the verdict of Krishna is the final and complete answer to all doubts, because he knows past, present, and future perfectly, but no one knows him. Krishna
Ah.
and Krishna conscious devotees alone can know what is what.
Krishna and Krishna conscious devotee alone can know. What? Krishna and Krishna conscious devotee, both. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavam tato gyatma Huh? Okay, this is what the Arjuna's conclusion. Arjuna now has expressed full trust in Krishna that you will surely resolve the doubt of Ravan cloud. Those yogis, those who are following. Now, from next week, or probably I'll announce. Not next week. I am going to Ayodhya. Next week we will assemble and discuss the remaining part, 7 verses, and then after that exam. So kindly prepare these 7 verses also. Read the purport. Consider that this is the end of the 6th chapter as such. Personally, you study the next 7 verses. We are going to discuss, but still, so that you start preparation for the exam and don't say that Prabhu 6th chapter is yet not over. After completion, only I can get impetus to start preparation. You need not wait for that. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. If you have any question, doubt, comments, otherwise we'll conclude to today's session. Okay, thank you very much for all the assembled sincere Vaishnavas. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.